Got some good stuff still coming up, and we're going to start it off with, well, this guy's got a lot of jobs. He is the founder and the CEO of MonkeyMedia Software, the Catering Institute, and Catering Insights. He knows as much about the intersection of the restaurant industry and catering as anyone alive. Please welcome Erle Dardick.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Erle, welcome back to RLC.
Thank you.
So what's new at MonkeyMedia?
We got a lot going on, and I thought what I'd do is, rather than taking up too much time, is just roll this video.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Off-premise is clearly important because the consumer is changing quicker than at any point in time in our lifetimes is the way that they use technology. And one of the ways that they use technology is to order food.
How the consumers choose to buy our products is changing, and this time next year I would expect about 50% of the consumers purchasing in our restaurants to take place before they get to the restaurant. The technology is evolving so fast, and the players are evolving with it.
Yet another way to get your coffee fix. Starbucks has announced a delivery option available through its iOS app.
How much more McDonald's food would you eat if McDonald's delivered?
Way too much.
Why don't they deliver?
A lot.
A lot.
Soon burritos will be delivered by drones across the campus of Virginia Tech.
I think we're going to move toward a world where this kind of thing becomes routine. It's just not here yet.
Starship has developed small six-wheeled drones to perform door-to-door deliveries.
I mean, all I did was come out and open a robot and grab my food. It was quick, easy.
You know, nobody's going to go out unless it's a better experience. And, you know, you could stay home and be on the internet if there's no experience to it.
Noisy. There's noise everywhere for these chains. It's difficult for them. There's hundreds of guys coming at them trying to sell them technology and this and services, and there's franchising, and I mean, there just goes on and on.
You got to be committed to it. You've got to set aside dollars. You've got to set aside budgets, and you got to rally the troops and rally the field, and it's got to start at the top.
Unlocking the door at 11 o'clock and hoping people will find a way in just doesn't work anymore. What we had to do was think about the new strategy of how to bring our food out to other people.
Doing catering is not a project. Doing catering is a way of life. You're changing the fundamental DNA of the business.
As an executive of a large restaurant company, my role is to put a stake in the ground at some point and move forward with those decisions. 10 years ago, it was fairly simple and straightforward to run a restaurant. Today, it is very, very complicated.
All right. So, I was trying to think how best I could serve you today, and I was encouraged just really to tell my story, so that's what I'm going to do. Paul D'Amico at Focus Brand left off about how his interpretation as a brand leader is the complexity and the difficulty of running restaurant companies today in today's environment. This slide you're looking at is an updated slide from a lady named Brita who's been tracking all of the tech and media happening in restaurant and food service, and this is last year, and it's incredibly overwhelming. Of course, as we all know, in terms of what are the right decisions and so on. We're seeing in the media all of this activity that's happening in off-premise. And what I've realized in the process and what I've learned is that the strategy, the actual business strategy, is completely getting lost in the landscape. And so what I'd like to do is take a moment to tell you a little bit about my story, which began in a deli in Vancouver, British Columbia in 1996. And I make a statement here of how a small Canadian deli helped change the balance sheet of America. And I made this statement a long time ago because the restaurant industry, as we know, is one of the most important and largest industries in America, probably the world. And the strategies that I learned here at Tony's Deli really is what we're doing today and scaling across food service. So my story begins 20 years ago, and this is the deli. You can see there's an early version of me, and you can see some of the subtleties of what we were doing at Tony's Deli. This was a distressed deli when I bought it, and my focus and strategy for fixing the deli was to build myself an off-premise operation out of the deli. And during that process, this is a side view of the front entrance of Tony's Deli. Upstairs in that little office was a little place called monkeymedia.net. 1996, focused on web-based animation. This was at a time when the internet was static web pages. Everybody remembers that. And downstairs in the deli, we had been building this backdoor business, this business out of the back of our restaurant. And I built curriculum, we built our training, we started to train our people in what we wanted them to do. And this became what we call the 5 pillars of successful restaurant takeout, delivery, and catering. And it was the blend of technology and the strategy that really became the magic behind the work that we started to do. And so our organization today has been built around this core concept, a business strategy we call the 5 pillars of successful restaurant takeout, delivery, and catering. And the strategy itself is broken up into 5 pieces, which is leadership, centralized services, we get into sales and marketing, we get into operations, and of course, we get into delivery. And I'm fascinated as I stand here before you today because delivery is playing such a predominant role in everything we're doing today. In my view and my perspective, delivery is but one pillar. It's not the strategy. It's an important part of the strategy, but it is not the strategy. There's 8 areas of strategic investment that have to get made into your organization to really leverage the off-premise opportunity. And then there's key performance indicators, which are behaviors that you need to instill into your organizations to really succeed in the business strategy. Today we're made up of a group of companies. We have the Catering Institute, we have MonkeyMedia Software, and we have Catering Insights. And my vision has been to really provide a full turnkey organization that provides resources, that provides consulting, training, program development, a marketplace for all the services that restaurant companies need to be able to grow and scale their off-premise operations. So the Catering Institute is basically made up of a faculty that I put together where we go in, we work on program development, we work on benchmarking. This is all about people development. This is the core strategy of what we're doing. Catering Insights is events, it's best practices. As a matter of fact, we have a symposium in Atlanta. We're doing workshops. We have wonderful partners like PepsiCo, LBP Manufacturing, supply chain partners that are helping us to help restaurant operators do more takeout, delivery, and catering. And we've been thinking about this for more than 20 years. So it brings me to the technology piece. And hopefully what I can do is shed some light for what I think is probably one of the most exciting times in food service. As we know, technology is changing the way we're interacting completely, not only with our customers, but it's changing the entire dynamics of our operations. So Monkey is the platform built around the 5 pillars, which is the strategy, which really is all the way back to the DNA of Tony's Deli. Tony's, just to give you some perspective, was doing $2.3 million in sales when I sold it. It was making more than $800,000 of cash flow. It was a single unit, and all of the behaviors and business strategy of takeout, delivery, and catering got captured in that web-based application. Today, we've scaled that out to more than 6,000 restaurants, and I'm blessed and fortunate to be standing in front of you today to be able to be in the boardrooms of the largest restaurant companies in the world, influencing the future of their strategies, and it's a very exciting time. What I would like to do in the next 3 minutes is to give you a perspective of what this web-based application can do to help you, because many of you are running into your digital ordering strategies. You've got your loyalty apps, you've got your point of sale systems, all the technology that's coming at you as operators. And if you imagine your brand's off-premise operations just in that little box over here, once you've implemented Monkey, and once you've implemented the business strategy, what happens is you encapsulate and you move your entire off-premise operations into a cloud-based environment. This is operations. This allows you to open up all your channels, your digital channels of takeout, catering, delivery, call centers, mobile ordering. It all is available to you into this back-end system that allows your operators, your franchisees, your restaurants, your salespeople, your call centers, your accounting, everything to do with the off-premise transaction happens in this back end. Now here's what's really exciting. Because through the API, which is, of course, this whole ecosystem of technology has been moving for many years. And what's happening is there's maturity, there's consolidation, there's partnerships that are taking place. And through the API, it allows us to interact with other third-party best-in-breed technology partners. So point of sale, corporate IT systems. The really exciting thing that's opening for restaurants and food service are the digital channels. And so what's coming, and you're all experiencing this, the Grubhubs of the world, your existing online ordering providers, Amazon, Google, all these suppliers that are now partners that are coming in, going at the consumer, taking orders. Through the API, they can inject orders into our back end. And this gives control of the entire off-premise transaction and operations over to you, the restaurant operator, so you can deal with these digital channels that are opening. The next piece of that is that through the APIs, we can also inject the transaction data back out to the delivery systems. So the days are coming where we're able to not only handle all these transactions, your people interact with the transactions, but in fact we can dispatch all the delivery companies and interact with all these technologies. Deep automation is what's coming for our industry. We're seeing it. It's going to be baked into equipment, vehicles, and everything we're doing. It's scary when we think about it, but it's probably one of the most exciting times that we've seen in food service, and this is happening across all industries. Okay, so I just want to give you some visibility into what we're doing, which is we are building scalable off-premise growth strategies for today and for tomorrow. I'd like to just take a moment to close. And I want to leave you with that idea, because it's not technology that's going to make you win. It's the business strategy that you need to get your minds wrapped around in terms of the differentiation and segmentation of markets, which is what's taking place. Technology is the enabler. It's the tool that you will be able to use to move your off-premise operations into a real-time environment where you're creating a rich experience between your customers and your operations and putting up a system of control and scale. Thank you.